Remember the CNN doctor Lena Wen from the scamdemic? Well, she's back trying to scare us about the bird flu. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the TV doctor Lena Wen trying to scare the American populace yet again. This time it's about bird flu vaccinations. Now, maybe you remember her, maybe you don't, but she was on television a lot during the scamdemic, talking about, oh, I blame the unvaccinated. They shouldn't be able to live normal life, all those kinds of things. And I think we all know now that the masking and 6 foot distance and vaccination, it was all BS. They were just throwing things out there to see what stick. And you know what? There could have been something a little bit more nefarious to it, tanking the economy to make the president look bad. I don't really know. But I think we all know with 100% certainty that what they were saying, what they were trying to sell us about the vaccinations and masks was just incorrect. It was wrong. Whether they lied or not is a different story. Now, let's get to some previous clips here so you can get your memory refreshed. It's like, who's this lady, Lena Wen, Chinese spy? I don't know that part. Maybe I'm just saying you got a lady with a Chinese accent, Chinese face, talking about taking your civil liberties away, but she's not a Chinese spy. I'm just saying. Elephant in the room I had to address. Let's watch this one. Then I got another one. Then we have the bird flu scare she's trying to pull now in 2024. Let's check this out first.
When they lifted the indoor mask requirement, I thought that the honor code was never going to work, that when vaccinated and unvaccinated people are mixing, unless there is proof of vaccination, everybody should still be wearing masks. And so I actually support what the CDC is now doing, which is going back to this indoor mask requirement, because frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated, that they have been walking around without masks. And in fact, that's what led to the surge that we're seeing.
So there we go. We cannot trust the unvaccinated. They're the reason for the surge, all this, that, and the third. We all know now that this is complete hogwash. It's hogwash. Malarkey, as Joe Biden would say. Now, here's another one from back then. I think that was 2023. This is also 2023, January 23. Let's check this out from CNN, which was usually her home base to spew her propaganda. Probably straight from the Chinese Communist Party, but different story. I digress. Let's roll it.
Doctor, these are two separate things here. Overcounting deaths and overcounting hospitalizations. As you know, I covered this closely being in the Trump White House when this happened. I talked to a lot of health officials about this who are actually kind of skeptical of this claim that you're making. And I think one big thing has been, what is the evidence that these COVID deaths are actually being overcounted?
Now, this is about when we were overcounting COVID deaths. Okay. Somebody was on a motorcycle, had an accident and flipped 1,000 times in the air and they passed away, but they had COVID-19. So that counts as a COVID death, which is ridiculous. And by the way, before she gives her answer, this is back in the Don Lemon days when he got demoted down to that show with the two ladies. That was hilarious. Look at him sitting right there like a little kid. But anyway, let's watch this.
Well, this is the reason why this kind of transparent reporting is going to be so important. There is a way for us to look at death certificates and also to look at the medical records of individuals prior to their death. And I think this needs to be separated into 3 categories. One is the COVID as a direct contributor, the primary cause of death. The second is, could it be a secondary contributing cause? So, for example, somebody with kidney disease, COVID then pushes them over the edge to have kidney failure. That's COVID as a contributing cause. And then the third is COVID as an incidental finding. So somebody coming in with a gunshot wound or a heart attack and they happen to test positive.
Well, that was kind of a little bit of, did you catch that? Well, if it's a gunshot wound or a heart attack, it wasn't COVID that caused it, but we know that the COVID vaccination allegedly causes myocarditis, pericarditis, heart problems. You got these well-trained athletes all over the world collapsing after they got the vaccination. So that was her trying to dispel anything dealing with the heart being linked to the COVID vaccine. That was pretty clever, but hey, that's why guys like me and many others exist, is to point out the nonsense that they do in the mainstream media, that they do to try and mislead you and gaslight you.
I think that we need to separate out and look at the percentages of each. That percentage would have shifted over time as well. In the beginning, probably a lot more people were dying with the primary cause of COVID. That probably has shifted. And I think, again, we need to understand this. Another reason to understand this, too, is a lot of people are wondering when they should get a booster next. When do we need a second booster or another booster? And the only way we can know for sure is to understand who is getting severely ill.
Okay, so that was that. Again, that was back in early 23. So you can see the pattern here, the pattern of misinformation, a gaslighting, of trying to scare the American public into going out and getting the vaccination, which we know was not a good idea at all. Now, we got to get to the main thing about the bird flu and that vaccination. But first, a word from our sponsor. Online data brokers sell your information to scammers, hackers, and anyone who wants to use that information against you. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, even your family members' information is all out there on the internet for sale. I mean, look at what they found about me. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Now, Aura shows me just which data brokers sell my information, and they automatically submit out requests on my behalf. Now, to clean all that up, not only helps me reduce spam, but it protects me from hackers who may want to gain access to my bank accounts, social media accounts, or maybe even invade the inside of my home. Now, I had to learn that the hard way back when I got swatted. It's 2019, I'm streaming as normal, and before I know it, I have not one, not two, but 6 cops at my back door, guns drawn. They tell us get outside, get on the ground, they go through the house, and they come back apologetic. I'm sorry, Mr. Logan, we got an anonymous tip about somebody being tied up and bleeding, and we had to come check it out. Now, that was a false claim, and I'm willing to bet whoever filed the false claim purchased my information from an online data broker. You may be thinking, hey, ABL, why would I need Aura? I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a streamer. How could this service protect me? Well, AT&T revealed that over 73 million existing and former customer records were released to the dark web. Now, AT&T recommends that you use a stronger password or monitor your account activity, maybe even consider a credit freeze or a fraud alert from a credit bureau. Well, Aura does all the above for me. And the best part is I don't need a million apps to accomplish the goal of protecting my privacy, all because one company could not do it. If your data was in an AT&T breach, just download Aura, activate it, and eliminate your worry, because it'll be on in the background, always protecting you. I value my privacy and I value yours. Visit aura.com/Anthony Logan through the link in the description to start your free 2-week trial today. And we're back. Now, here is Face the Nation, and we got Dr. Lena Wynn yet again, spouting out misinformation, in my humble opinion, or fear-mongering tactics. And before I play the video, are you guys going to go out there and get the bird flu vaccination? Are you afraid? Let's see what she says and see if she can change your mind one way or the other. Check it out.
There are 2 main things that they should be doing in the days that they have left. The first is to get testing out there. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from COVID that just because we aren't testing, it doesn't mean that the virus isn't there. It just means that we aren't looking for it. We should be having rapid tests, home tests available to all farm workers, to their families, for the clinicians taking care of them, so that we aren't waiting for public labs and CDC labs to tell us what's bird flu or not. And the second very important thing is, this is not like the beginning of COVID where we were dealing with a new virus, we didn't have a vaccine. There actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The Biden administration has contracted with the manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine. There's research done on it. They could get this authorized now and also get the vaccine out and to farm workers and to vulnerable people.
See, what it sounds like is you're trying to rush this thing to the front. And it doesn't sound like we really need it, because bird flu been around for a while, isn't it? Avian flu, bird flu, whatever they want, H1N1, these things have been around for a while. And I don't recall any vaccination ever being made for these things. Maybe I'm out of the loop because I don't take the vaccinations. I don't take the flu shot, COVID shot, none of that stuff. Maybe they had one before, but I think what they're doing right now is developing something that's not been approved yet. So we see what the dangers of fast tracking something to the market without having a lot of rigorous testing can do. There could be some immediate damaging side effects and also some unknown long-term side effects that if you're the company making it, you just kick it down the road. Kick the can down the road. If in 20 years, there's a number called 1-800, I was damaged by this vaccine. If that happens, so what? They set aside money for it and make it be kind of just like incidental legal fund. They don't really care that your life was ruined over that. They look at you as a number that was just kind of a blip on the radar.
I think that's the right approach, because we don't know what the Trump administration is going to be doing around bird flu. If they have people coming in with anti-vaccine stances, could they hold up vaccine authorization? If they don't want to know how much bird flu is out there. Could they withhold testing? I mean, that's a possibility. And I think the Biden administration in the remaining days should get testing and vaccines widely available so that at least it empowers state and local health officials and clinicians to do the right thing for their patients.
Dr. Wynn.
All right. So there's more to that, but I'll leave it right there. I don't think I'm going to get that. I think I'm good. I don't care about all these viruses. Have been around for a long time. Look, I just want to add one last piece as I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. I think that this is a money grab. Okay, Big Pharma, that's a really, really, really big entity, maybe even bigger than our own federal government. It's a really big entity, very powerful. So they might send her out there, or some company overseas may send her out there to go on television and spread misinformation to help them to continue to build their money up. That's what I think is happening. Maybe I'm wrong, but by the looks of things, I don't think that I'm too far off. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on Dr. Lena Wynn? And by the way, her credentials, I think she was a health commissioner of the city of Baltimore Health Department. But beyond that, and she's not even doing that right now. I think her full-time job is as a propagandist, in my humble opinion, from what I'm able to see on television. But what's your opinion about what she's saying? Are you afraid of the bird flu? Did you go out and get COVID-19 vaccinations because she got on TV and said that it was the right thing to do, only to come out later and say, oh, well, we miscounted some people that died. Oops, sorry. Keep changing things. Look, as I close for real, I want to say this. They just keep throwing stuff out there to see what works, to see what sticks, to see what benefits them in their bottom line. But what about the American people caught up in all this stuff, caught up in all these experiments? I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be a guinea pig. I don't want to be an experiment. I want to be able to take control of my own body and my own life and do what's best for me, rather than what some random lady that might be a whole Chinese agent is trying to tell me by ways of deception and fear mongering. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.